Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I would like to welcome you all for joining today's online class with His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj. Thank you all for joining. A very warm welcome to you all. My humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai, glories to Prabhupada. Your volume is a little low.
Can you hear it, Maharaj? Huh?
You can hear, but it's low. That's all right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Eko nandatvam anvichan yogatapad samutitaha viran hiranmayo. Viram Hiranmayam Devo Mayaya Yasrijat Srida. The Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, generated the seminal symbol, golden in you, through external energy out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. So here we're hearing about creation. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verses 7 and 8, the creation and annihilation of the material world are stated as follows. Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mam Vikam Kalpashayam Punastani Kalpado Visrajami Aham Prakritim Swam Astvabhya Visrajami Punaha Bhutagramam imam krishnam avasam prakritir vasat. At the end of each millennium, the creative forces, namely the material nature and the living entities who struggle in the material nature, are all merged together into the transcendental body of the Lord. And again, when the Lord desires to manifest them, all of them are again displayed by the Lord. So if you can understand that, you can understand how creation is working. So at the end of every millennium, the material energy it has a time limit on it. And after that time limit is up, the material energy and the living entities merge back into the body of the Lord until the time for the next manifestation of creation. Therefore, the material nature is working under the control of the Lord. All of them under the agency of material nature and under the control of the Lord are thus repeatedly created and annihilated by the will of the Lord. Annihilate means everything material. As such, before the creation or manifestation of the cosmic material world, the Lord exists as total energy, Maha Samasti, and thus desiring himself to be diffused to many, he expands himself further into multi-total energies, Samasti. So now this is where we come in. From the multi-eternal energy, he further expands himself into individuals in three dimensions, namely Adhyatmika, Adidavik, Adibautic, as explained before, Vyasti. As such, the whole creation and the creative energies are non-different and different simultaneously. That's a very important statement. The whole creation and the creative energies are different and non-different simultaneously. Because everything is an emanation from him, the Mahavishnu or Mahasamasti. Nothing of the cosmic energy is different from him, but all such expanded energies have such specific functions and displayed as designed by the Lord, and therefore they are simultaneously different from the Lord. So different and non-different is being explained here. The living entities are also similar energy, marginal potency of the Lord, and thus they are simultaneously one with and different from him. At the stage of non-manifestation, the living energies remain potent in the Lord, and when they are let loose in the cosmic manifestation, they are exhibited differently in terms of different desires under the modes of material nature. Such differential manifestations of the living energies are conditioned states of the living entities. Can you understand that? Such differential manifestations of the living energies, or many living entities are different, are conditional states of the living entities. That's the three modes. So you see there's different conditional types of living entities depending on the nature of the mode that they are connected with. And the modes interact, and there are so many combinations of modes. Therefore, there's 8,400,000 species of life. The liberated living entities, however, in the Sanatan eternal manifestation, are unconditionally surrendered souls, and therefore they're not subject to the conditions of material creation and annihilation. So this creation takes place by the grants of the Lord from his bedstead of mystic slumber. And thus all the universes and the Lord of the universe, Brahma, are again and again manifested and annihilated. Umagyan timidandasya gana jana salakaya chaksun militam yena tasmai Sri Guruve namaha ma om Vishnu padaya Krishna prastaya bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Taruptischa Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here, creation and how it unfolds, annihilation at a certain point manifests, and then there is the interim period where the Lord takes everything into his transcendental body. And after some time, when it's time for the next manifestation of creation, he wills that, and it mentions here in the translation, it generates a seminal symbol, golden and new, through his external energy, out of the desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself. Interesting. So there's so many speculative scientific books about creation. You don't need to read any of that. Here's the actual authority right here, how everything happens. And the modern day materialists, they don't connect Krishna with the creation. And therefore, they come up with their own ideas, such as that gases are moving in certain ways, and then there's an explosion due to the contact of the gases, and then an explosion creates some elements, and these elements generate, and then they float in space, and then they come together in different ways, and by their coming together, they form various types of bodies. There's no logic in that, but to speak about truth in it, there's no not even any logic. But this is one of their theories. Of course, they have other theories of creation also. But theory doesn't mean fact. Fact comes from the source who knows. We take our knowledge from the supreme knowledgeable source, which is Krishna himself. And he manifests that knowledge into the hearts of his pure devotees, who take that knowledge and spread it everywhere for the benefit of the conditioned souls and the benefit for understanding what is actually transcendental scientific knowledge creation. So the devotees don't have to worry about what is right and what is wrong. We just have to hear from Krishna and Krishna's pure devotee. And then we have all knowledge. It's not that the scientists, they speculate with various types of instruments and observation programs and come up with theories. They spent millions of dollars in research money to do all of this work. And the result is, what is it called? Bombarda. Bombarded, I forgot the second word. Big arrangement, but no result. It's like Prabhupada says, just like in the morning, the many clouds will come together and there'll be thunder and lightning, but no rain. Big arrangement, no results. So this is their thing, big arrangement and wrong results. Not only no results, wrong results. Actually, no results, because all of their theories are also just as bad as their speculations. So we don't need to hear from the modern scientists. We have the supreme scientist, who is the supreme source of all scientific knowledge, Krishna himself. He is Yogeshwar, the master of all mystic power. He doesn't keep his knowledge to himself, like a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge. They don't want to share it for whatever reason. He gives that knowledge because that knowledge benefits the conditioned souls in their understanding of how the world works, who they are, what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, what is our relationship with the material energy. All of the knowledge that comes by way of what is called sambandha, or connection, is given by Krishna himself through the hearts and minds of the pure devotees, who receive that knowledge directly with Krishna, from Krishna within the heart. They don't have to go around researching. Everything is given by Krishna himself. And of course, Krishna speaks, and then we simply take what he says as being the absolute truth, because he is the absolute truth himself. He's not talking about the absolute truth. He is the absolute truth. And whatever comes from him is also absolute. So this is, everything is clear. And here, it's interesting to say, the principle of achintya beta beta tattva is mentioned when something is the same and different at the same time. From the material perspective, it doesn't make it, it's not very logical how something can be same and different at the same time. But on the spiritual platform, it's easily understandable how Krishna expands himself into himself and creates us, the living entities, which are simply an expansion of his own self. So actually, in one sense, we are actually, in one sense, non-different than Krishna, because we are coming from Krishna directly, not indirectly. But because we are a marginal part of his energy, we are not the same as he is. Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam, Eko Bhavanam Vidadati Kaman. We are different. Just like the very simple example, the drop of water and the ocean water is both salty and liquidy, but there is a difference between the ocean and the drop, obviously. You don't need an explanation of that. So in the same way, we are also, in one sense, Krishna, in the sense that we are coming from him, but at the same time, we are not Krishna, because we are an expansion of him and his pure energy of spiritual expansion. So if you know this knowledge, and of course it's called achintya, and chitya means how is it understand through logic? It's not. It's understood through practical spiritual realization by hearing from the great souls and by engaging in devotional service. Knowledge comes when we do two things. We hear the knowledge philosophically from the books, from Krishna, from the pure devotees, and we engage in devotional service. If we do not engage, if we simply hear from the books and from the Lord, and we do not engage in devotional service, the knowledge will never take root within our consciousness. It'll remain theoretical at best. But when we actually act in devotional service, we connect with that same energy. And therefore, after some time, that knowledge becomes a part of you, and it's not any more theory anymore. It's practical spiritual realization. So to realize what we're reading here, we have to engage in devotional service and also hear this knowledge regularly to become fortified in our consciousness where there is no doubt about what is the reality. The devotees are the greatest scientists. Devotees are the greatest philosophers. The devotees are the greatest philanthropists, the greatest humanitarians. Why? Because they get everything from the source of all these categories from Krishna himself through the pure. And therefore they manifest that in their activities in devotional service. So this particular verse, you can go down the page and see what else is being said. Yeah. Yeah. So material energy is temporary, but the manifestations of the material energy are eternal. In other words, there'll always be a material energy. Bhutva paliyate means it gets annihilated and created over and over again, but the system continues eternally. There'll always be a material world. The analogy is understood is that when you have a state, you'll always have a jail system because there'll always be criminals in the state. So in order to facilitate the reformation of such deviant living beings, a prison is created. So because there'll always be living entities who will deviate from the Lord's service and want to become separate from the Lord, this material energy will continue. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was listening to his pure devotee, Vasudev Datta Thakur, Vasudev Datta Thakur was the manifestation of compassion. He felt for all of the suffering of the living entities, and he told the Lord, please take all of their suffering and place it on my head. Let me suffer and let them all go back home, back to Godhead. When Lord Chaitanya heard that, he practically cried. I mean, he was so overwhelmed with love, hearing how Vasudev, and Vasudev was not simply speaking some nice words. He was actually, he wanted to free all of the living entities from their suffering and take their stuff, because those sinful activities have to go somewhere. They just don't dissolve. They can be dissolved by devotional service. They can be dissolved by experiencing them. But he wanted to take it. Lord Chaitanya, he glorified him. He said, Vasudev, my body belongs to you. You can do anything you want with it. You can sell it. You can keep it. I'm yours. You own me. That's how the Lord was feeling towards Vasudeva. But then at one point he said to Vasudeva, but Vasudeva, even if all of the living entities in this creation go back home, back to Godhead, there will be another set of living entities who will fill up the creation again. Now he was saying that, yeah, Yeah, you can take them all back, but there'll still be another group coming in who will also be sinful. So that's why here it says the material energy is eternal, but the manifestations are temporary. So that's interesting. Let's see. And then the total material energy expands into the three: Adhyatmic, Adhidaivic, Adhibautic. And this was explained previously. The object, the seer, and the seen. What is seen? What is the means for seeing, and who is seen? These are the three things. So everything is related to these three aspects. We are the seer. Our eyes are used as a means for seeing, and the environment around us is what we see. So this is categories in these three things called Yasti, Adhyatmic, Adhidaivic, Adhibautic. But it also has another meaning. It also means klesha. Klesha refers to sufferings or miseries. So there are three types of miseries. Miseries that come from our own body and mind. We don't have to analyze that very much. We all know the mind gives us trouble. The mind gets depressed. The mind gets headaches. We get so many problems. The body undergoes so much turmoil. We get disease. We get sick. We get infirmed. We get limited by our bodily activities. So that's adiatmic. Adidaivika means there are living entities around you which will cause you trouble. Mosquitoes, they'll bite you for no reason. Flies will jump on you for no reason. Snakes, if you're in their area, will bite you for no reason. Scorpions are also the same. And then you have, those are the lower everything. And then you have adiavic coming from other people, sometimes friends, relatives, and also give you trouble. Sometimes we say government officials, they always give you trouble by taxing you for everything you own. Another form of adidivic. Adibautic, I'm sorry, adibautic is what I just explained. Adidivic, as we all know, torrential rains, excessive heat, excessive cold, earthquakes, tornadoes, volcanoes, what we say, scarcity of food, so many, what we say, sufferings that are imposed of us by the demigods coming through the material energy. So these are the three here. So therefore, when one knows that there is just suffering on different levels, one will think how to remove the effects of suffering from my life. And that is take up devotional service. So yeah, and then Prabhupada says the whole creation and the creative energies are both different and non-different. Because they come from him, they're non-different, and because they act differently than he is, they are different simultaneously. So but the principle of that is called achintya. Jiva Goswami explains achintya means inconceivable. How do we conceive it? You can only conceive it by your spiritual realization. You can't understand it through philosophical wrangling, discussion, philosophical ideas, trying to understand it by neti, various types of principles of philosophy. But you'll never get to the understanding. The understanding will come when you are elevated in Krishna consciousness. When Krishna reveals all of this knowledge directly to you within your mind, within your heart. This knowledge comes externally in theory, but direct in forms of Krishna. And that is called self-realization. We not only realize Krishna, we realize ourselves, we realize the material energy, how it works and how it affects. we realize everything. Full knowledge comes in Krishna consciousness. There's nothing else one has to achieve. Therefore, to go to school to get all kinds of university degrees is not really knowledge, because all it does is paint some kind of philosophical and theoretical and what we say information upon you. It has nothing to do with you, something you adopt in order to function in this material world. But real knowledge is chit, and the soul is sat chit ananda. That chit potency exists within you. It is revealed through the process of pure devotional service. Okay, this is something we can think about. This is a very, very interesting philosophical explanation of it, the creation and the manifestation and the Lord's relationship with everything.
Thank you, Maharaj, for this technical explanation, but also connecting it with Krishna and devotional service. So dear devotees, we'll go for Q&A, and you can ask your questions by raising your hands, or if you're not able to speak, you can put your chat questions in the chat window, and I will try my best to relay it back on the forum.
Let me just say something. This section of the Bhagavatam is very, very technically and very philosophical. Because the chapter we're in is called the Bhagavatam is the answers to all questions. So if those of you who are really inspired by very difficult forms of spiritual and philosophical knowledge, this is a section which really will inspire your intelligence in a very devotional way. It's a great place to really hear the knowledge about existence and how it manifests.
Thank you, Maharaj. Also, before we start the Q&A, kind request, if you can turn your cameras on, we can make our sessions interactive and personal. Thank you. So, Prasidh Chaitanya Prabhuji, please go ahead and ask your question.
Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances in lotus feet. Guru Maharaj, there are, something, you explained about Achint Bheda Bhed, and you have given the example of, drop of ocean and ocean. Means God is, we can understand God is, God is like a ocean, and we being a Jew, we are, we are a drop of water, drop of ocean. And you explained that as a quantitatively, God is like ocean, and we are a drop of ocean. So Guru Maharaj, I want to I want to understand more. How can we understand the Achintya Veda Bhed with the more clarity? Because we can understand that God, Krishna, is all the things created by Krishna only, and still no, he is not affected by any spiritual and any material things. So can you explain more so that we can understand more easily, even
He's,
for more
he's a
examples?
creator. He's a creator and a controller. He creates all of these energies coming from his own existence, and then he controls them also by manifesting all of these in different types of energies. So nothing is outside of him, and he is not affected by him. He's because he controls them. He creates them, he controls them. Sometimes you see in the material world, people they create something and then they become controlled by what they can create
Mm.
because they don't have the power to control what they create. And sometimes they control things. They create things that cause them their own destruction. Krishna is
Mm.
not like that. Because he's a creator, he's the supreme controller. When he
Okay.
manifests his control through his different energies. But the basic thing is that Prabhupada also mentions in one very clear lecture, he says, you are Krishna. Well, what is he saying? He's talking about the oneness of the absolute truth. that we are one with God. We're not different from God qualitatively. But then the difference is quantity. Nityo, nityanam. Nityo means one, nityanam means many. Nityo means eternal. The one eternal manifests and maintains all of the other eternals. So we are manifested and maintained by God, both. But then we are both nitya. We are both eternal because we are also spiritual. So then that's the oneness. But the difference is Eko Bahonam Vidadati Kaman, that he is not, no one is equal to, no one is greater to, everyone is subordinate to him. So that's the difference. Although the oneness is there, the difference is also there. So how much can you understand of that? You accept it because it is a reality. And practically you can even see it. Just like sugar is one, but sugar manifests itself in different forms of sweetness. And therefore there's the variety of forms of sweetness by which sweetness comes, but sugar is one. The sweetness element is in there of all of the other forms of sweetness, but each one are manifested in a different form. There's sugar cane, there's rock candy, there's molasses, there's lozenges, there's all kinds of sugar items, but sugar is there in all of them. So there's one difference on the material level. Everything is sugar and everything is not sugar. Your son comes from you. You don't have sons, you have daughters. Okay. Your daughter comes from you, but at the same time, she's coming from you, but she's not different than you in the sense that she comes from you. You manifest the seed to bring about this living entity into existence in this world, but still she, and you're a you. You're not the same. But by your energy, you brought her into existence. So in that sense, there's a oneness. We can take this oneness in theory and apply it in different ways. But how much can you understand? You can accept it based on the theory. How much can you understand in realization? That comes by transcendental knowledge. That's why Jiva Goswami says it's a chinta. It's inconceivable. So you have to accept that you cannot conceive the nature of God. It's not possible. If we could figure out God, we'd be as good as God. But we're not. We try to figure him out, but we always fall short. Therefore, he's inconceivable. He's inconceivable in his existence, and he's inconceivable in his activities.
Yes, Lord.
Otherwise, he can't be God if he's conceivable.
Mm.
What's the meaning of God if he's like us? We can figure him out. There's no meaning to the word God then. There's no meaning. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Think
Prabhuji.
about it. Read the books, you'll get more and more understanding.
Thank you. Amritanam Mataji, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, you told once about Leelas of Leelas of the Lord, and to understand the pastimes, the Leelas of Lord, you need to understand the tattva well. So I was just wondering that tattva being so unlimited, and is it not again the matter of how much Krishna wants to reveal?
When it comes to Leela, yeah. When it comes to Tattva, he gives you, you know, so many, so much knowledge of Tattva. The books are full of it. And we're hearing Tattva right here. Tattva is transcendental knowledge, the knowledge of transcendence. But the Leelas are manifestations of the transcendental knowledge also. But they're separate at the same time, and one cannot enter into the Leelas unless you have a preliminary understanding of Tattva. First of all, you have to understand one thing you can understand. When you accept that you can understand, then you can start beginning to understand. Yeah, it's a fact. Those who think they can understand simply by reading books, they'll just remain fools.
So even Leela's Gurmaj, we never are able to fully understand the Leelas. Is that correct?
No, that's a fact.
Right, right.
Because the Leelas they're on the highest platform of realization of Krishna's nature. Why he does what he does, how he does what he does. You get a little inkling of why and how, but that's about all. The difference between what we do in terms of our Leelas, we can't call them Leelas, we call them our material adventures, which look similar to Krishna's activities, is like trying to compare gold with iron.
I,
You might say, well, gold and iron are both metals. Yeah, that's nice. But one is very valuable and rare, and the other one is very base and available. But Krishna he manifests his Leelas so we can somehow or other become attracted to the transcendental realm. Prabhupada was just talking today, he was saying, Prabhupada said, and just we want to dance and sing with Krishna back in the spiritual world. He said that's the goal, to go back home and sing and dance with Krishna. So we're singing and dancing here, right? But not exactly the same. Not even even remotely the same. So when people compare our material activities and see how we do the same things that we read about in Krishna, they're comparing gold and iron to be the same. It's what is it called? Rasa by Sai. It's full of transcendental, yeah, Rasa by Sai. That's one. It's also is another terminology, which means completely transcendental. We can't understand transcendental with philosophical knowledge. It's not possible. Even if you read all of the books, it doesn't mean you're going to understand it. Krishna will reveal that through your bhakti. Only by, as he says, only by pure devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you and thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. I mean, if you can understand Krishna 20%, that's pretty good.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj,
But
for opening my
but he
eyes.
wants us to understand him. So he makes his leelas available for us. But qualify. If you want to go to a prestigious university, you have to qualify just to get entrance into it. And if you want to graduate from it, you also have to qualify to pass all of the, what we say, high-level examinations. So people want to get in, but they don't want to qualify. They use their high school education to get into a university or to understand university knowledge. It's not possible. But the more you hear about Krishna, the more you reflect on what you hear, the more you discuss it. When you discuss it, it becomes more and more easily understood.
Thank you,
And
Guru
the more
Maharaj.
you engage in devotional service.
Mm. Thank you, Guru
But
Maharaj. That's quite clear.
but the Lord makes it available. Why does he come to the material world? To display these same things that he does in the spiritual world. And there's no difference between what he does in the spirit and material world and in the spiritual world. They're both chintamani. They're both transcendental. He doesn't come and perform something material because it's a material world. It's also the same activities in the material world with his eternal associates. But if you read and study the life of Lord Chaitanya, you'll gain so much knowledge. If you read Bhagavatam, you'll gain knowledge, but it's a lot harder. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, you can start getting an understanding of this, what we say, transcendental realization starts to come by Mahaprabhu's mercy. Okay.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Keep reading, keep discussing. It purifies the mind, keeps the mind away from useless materialistic activities. That's one of the benefits of our Krishna consciousness. It keeps you away from Maya. Even if you don't get much out of Krishna consciousness, still, at least you're not engaged in Maya.
Yes, Maharaj. All thanks to Srila Prabhupada for this process.
Yeah, that's if you have that understanding, much more knowledge will come your way. Okay.
Thank you. Shiva Kumar Prabhu, you can ask your question next. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Maharaj, one question I had from today's lecture. You are making a comment that as the jivas take up to spiritual path, bhakti, and get liberated, there would be new set of jivas that might occupy the universe or the planets. So I just wanted to understand, Maharaj, does that mean as far as there is free will for the jivas, there is every chance that the jivas can choose to come to material world, Maharaj?
What's the question? The materials you traverse through the universes by your karma.
Hmm.
You don't choose. You choose the activity. The activity brings a certain result, and the result manifests in a certain realm of existence. Just like this is a middle planet, there's supposed to be a balance of happiness and distress here. You go to lower planets, people are more subjected to distress. go to the higher planets, people are more subjected to happiness, at least materially. That's all due to karma.
Mm.
So your karma will cause you to take birth in one realm of existence and another, in one planet or another, in one country or another, in one family or another, in one type of body or in another. It's all based on karma.
Mm. Okay.
You create your own karma.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Just look in the mirror and don't complain. You did it.
Mm.
One of the simplest ways to understand.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, is that clear? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Karma, Daitrina. It's the verse
Mm.
is karma, karma, people take birth.
Mm. Mm.
It's not limited to one realm of existence. It doesn't mean because you're in the Earth planet now, another life will bring you back to the Earth planet. It may not.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
You may come to the higher planets
Mm.
by your
Mm.
pious activity.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Mm. So, Maharaj, just one follow-up question, Maharaj, if I may ask. I'm hearing these two terms, Maharaj, in some of the lectures. There is this direct cause and there is this remote cause. We are the direct cause for our state, whatsoever state, and Krishna is also the remote cause. So, how do we understand, Maharaj, in the context of today's discussion?
Well, what you see as the cause is the direct cause, but the remote cause is the manifestation that makes the direct cause happen.
Hmm. Okay.
Because he's the cause of all causes. Ishwar
Hmm.
Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraham, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karna Karnam. Whatever cause is happening, there's an initial cause behind that. Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Some people like to play this game called dominoes.
Hmm.
They stack up these little squares with dots on them, and they put them in rows. And then you push the first one, and it just leans on the next one, and they all collapse.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
You look at the end result, you might think, well, that last domino was the one that caused it. No, it's the first one that pushed it. Krishna is behind every.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you actuate, or you mean you connect with a particular energy, and then that cause works in that way.
Hmm. 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 Okay. Hmm. Yes,
It's
ma'am.
again, it's karma.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sridevi Mataji, you can go next. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. As I was listening to this class, Guru Maharaj, I was thinking at one point you said devotees are the greatest philosophers, greatest scientists, greatest humanitarians, because their source of knowledge is the Lord Himself, which is impeccable knowledge. So I was thinking that for Krishna consciousness to really sweep the world, we need good Krishna conscious leaders. But at the same time, Prabhupada didn't want us to enter into the realm of politics. And so I'm curious to know why that was so and if that's going to change.
He saw modern day politics as what it was, just cutthroat. One devotee said, we should become president. Prabhupada said, yeah, you can become president, but you won't be able to do anything. This Prabhupada knew behind the scenes of all of these governments, there are higher, big, powerful, and controllers that are making everything happen. He talked about that also. So he was talking pretty much on a factual level. But if a devotee gets a political post, that's good. Buddhism spread all over India, like King Ashok. When King Ashok, a Buddhist, he made the religion. When King Birhambir, no, what is it? Yeah, King Birham in Vanu Vishnupur in Bengal, when he connected with Srinivasacharya, he became a great soul. And then because he had such influence, he made that whole area of Birhambir Vaishnavas. They were all Vaishnavas. So yeah, we want that. We want people to take big posts because they have followers and they can influence their followers in that way. You see that today, even people follow the leader. And when the leader is actually God conscious, then he can really make a difference in the world.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I see your point that Prabhupada didn't want us to enter into an area where we would be wasting our time and energy because it's such a
You didn't
cesspool.
you didn't hear my explanation, did you?
No, I did hear that we want people who are powerful to take up positions of leadership because they have a following and they can influence others to take up Krishna consciousness. I got that part.
But Prabhupada was
Haribol?
talking time, place. He's talking time, place, and circumstance. He's the one that started the In God We Trust party back in the 70s. We had people running for president. But then he saw the futility of it. So he stopped it. That doesn't mean if times change that we should simply stick to that. If someone who has some position in society and through that position goes higher in the realm of any particular realm, social realm, economic realm, political realm, we want that. That's good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Maharaj, I'm going to relay the question from Shakshi Mataji. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. So, can we conclude that the reason we read all these scriptures and knowledge is to show God we are trying to know Him? All it requires is the sincerity, and as the Lord and the spiritual master sees that the devotee is trying sincerely and simultaneously doing service, they'll impart knowledge in your heart, and that's how you understand God.
When knowledge is theoretical, when one engages in devotional service, it becomes realized knowledge. Gyan leads to Vigyan. Vigyan manifests when one practices the process of bhakti. If you simply read books, you'll get some knowledge, but you won't be able to apply it. You won't be able to understand unless you apply it in your life. Somebody teaches you how to cook and gives you a book and you read all of this and then but you don't go in the kitchen and cook, then what's the use of you go to school to learn how to do things, but then you take that knowledge and you get a job and you work at that. Then you become proficient at it. You become a doctor, you get all of your degrees as a doctor, but you don't do anything. And who's going to come and take medicine from you? You have to act. So this knowledge is a light in the right direction. It's a guide. It's also transcendental realization. If there's different types of knowledge. But basic knowledge keeps us focused on the path of bhakti, keeps us moving in the right direction. So knowledge is important, but bhakti is the result of knowledge and not, well, we say vice versa. Gyan and karma support bhakti or are part of bhakti. They're actually part of bhakti. In the beginning, they're separate until we get a foothold in bhakti, and then they become not different than bhakti. That's in nectar devotion. In the beginning, cultivate knowledge, cultivate detachment. But after some time, you'll find that when you're engaged in devotional service, you're detached. Because you're not engaged in anything, any material activities anymore. So there's your detachment. And the knowledge comes by way of service. You learn about Krishna by serving Krishna. The books help you, but they're not, you have to put the books into action. Of course, some things we can't put into action because they're just transcendental knowledge. Those you can read and understand. But practically speaking, we have to execute. That's called the rules and regulations of bhakti. Well, Rupa Goswami has written, the entire nectar devotion. What is bhakti? How does it work? What to do, what not to do? Examples of success, examples of failure. Everything is there in nectar devotion. It's a great science. But if you don't come to love of God, then what is the use of everything? That's the goal. Knowledge is meant to lead you to love of God. But when love of God is there, knowledge is automatically there already. You don't have to cultivate it separately.
Thank you for the clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Great question.
Just try to love Krishna, that's all. And you'll get all knowledge.
I'm currently reading Nectar of Devotion since you asked me to read this book during the retreat. So, yeah, I'm reading this also. Thank you.
So how much have you read so far?
I've just read the introduction part and the preface part.
Okay. The introduction has a lot in it.
Yes.
A lot. Some of the key verses in Nectar of Devotion are in the introduction.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
This
Oh, we have Revati.
Yeah, Hi Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. In the Purport Guru Maharaj, I'm trying to understand, you explained about klesha, sufferings, and also there is one more like individual in 3 dimensions. That is also Adhyatmika, Adibhautika. I couldn't understand. Could you please elaborate the difference between how to understand these two?
What don't you understand? Then I can explain.
Individual in 3 dimensions, how to put those here in Adhyatmika, Adibhautika.
Oh, the object, the seer, and the person who is seeing, that's also categorized in those three categories. One is the seer is Adhyatmika. What is being seen is Adibhautika. And no, the object to see is I'm not sure exactly how they line up. If you go back a few verses in this same chapter, you'll come to that. It's there it's in the same chapter, I think, chapter 10 in the very beginning. Or it's in the end of chapter 9, either one. Those three are mentioned. Yeah.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, I'll go and read those things.
Seer, seen, and object of seeing.
Okay.
No, seer, instrument for seeing, an object and the seen. The person who's seeing, the tools to see, and the object to see. It's like hearing. You're hearing, but you use the ear to hear, and the sound is what you hear. That's also same thing, three things. Taste. You're tasting what you're tasting, and the instrument for tasting, your tongue. Three things.
Okay. Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, thank you, Guru Maharaj. I'll go and read, and if I couldn't understand, I'll check with you again. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
You can find more. You can find more of that in the third canto in Bhagavatam also.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any further questions, comments, doubts?
Looks like we did it.
Okay. So if
Okay, we can stop here.
okay. Thank you,
If you're
Maharaj.
inclined, we can do some japa for a little while. I can't stay too long, but something.
Yes, Maharaj. Sridevi Mataji, do you have that the link to share? Because I don't have that.
Unfortunately, I'm in a new city and I'm,
Oh.
observing through my phone. So I'm not able to give you that DT pictures.
Okay. Maharaj, is it okay if I just share the Panchtattva picture from Mayapur?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Srimati still online? She has it. She's there. I can see her name. She's there, Srimati.
Yes.
But I think she's away from her phone, away from the computer right now. Somebody can call her up and tell her.
Okay, Maharaj, I will call her. And in the meantime, I'll
Yeah.
share the Panchatattva.
Srimati has it also.